flag garden behind me is as it should be. Last year we did what we could in the times that we were in, but we all wanted to be back here this year with as many of you as possible joining us here or online to honor our heroes, as we have done for many years in the past. This garden was planted by a much smaller group of volunteers than in past years. Gone were the days of 700 volunteers getting it done in 2 hours. It took us over 10 hours with about 100 volunteers. But we followed COVID protocols as we should. We were aided by partners from Home Base, Project 351, first responders, frontline workers, healthcare workers, and our friends in uniform, and many more. But please, family members who weren't able to be here yesterday, as some of you were, please know that love and honor went into the planting of this garden, and that we kept your loved ones in our hearts always. At this time, we'll begin the program, and I ask you all to please rise for the presentation of the colors by the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Regiment Honor Guard of the Massachusetts Army National Guard, and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Julie Roje from the Staff Sergeant Matthew A. Pacino Memorial Foundation.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and a rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. On the 5th of May in 1868, General John A. Logan, commander of the Grand Army of the Republic and a Civil War hero himself, issued in just over 450 words an order designed to ensure that no generation ever forgot those who fell in battles fought, won, and lost, so that our republic might remain free. But his order, instructive as it was, also admonished us. Logan said, quote, "Let no vandalism of avarice or neglect, no ravages of time, testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic. As the birthplace of our revolution and of our democracy, Massachusetts has always stood tall and strong in defense of our freedoms and that undivided republic Logan spoke of. We've always answered the call to service, and this generation is no different from those throughout the ages. For nearly 380 years, as our citizens volunteered and served, This very Boston Common has been a gathering place for the masses, and most especially for those preparing for and suffering through the ravages of war. Farmhands became militiamen here on the eve of our revolution. The redcoats encamped here for 8 long years. Soldiers, black and white, were recruited and mustered right here during the Civil War. And in the Great World Wars, these fields sprouted their first victory gardens, even as the iron fencing was carted away to make more munitions. Today, we gather again here on this common. We gather to honor those who came before us and to carry on that legacy connecting this land to the brave men and women from Massachusetts who fought and died for our freedom. Yesterday, I was honored to join that group of vaccinated volunteers I mentioned, who planted this flag garden that lay before you. These flags, together with the 370 we will plant in this ceremony, honor each of the 37,342 service members from Massachusetts who fell in service to our country from our war for independence until present day, including your loved ones. These flags will remain in place throughout this weekend as our gift to the people of the Commonwealth and to any and all families who have lost a loved one in service. We at the Massachusetts Military Heroes Fund hope that this is a site of reflection, and in particular, that it may offer our most recently bereaved families a measure of peace, tranquility, and comfort, knowing that we have not forgotten and we will never forget their loss and the sacrifices that their hero made for us all. But we also hope that this site is a site of inspiration to all who see it, in person, online, or in the media. An inspiration to merely take time. Just take time to remember. Not just this weekend, but always. What we do today is special, because what we do today is honor sacrifice, made in the name of freedom. This sacrifice is a gift that we must not squander nor forget. These flags represent heartbeats silent, dreams unfulfilled, and lives lost. They represent women and men who gave what Lincoln called the last full measure of devotion, that we might be free. Each and every one of us, not a select few, but all of us who are lucky to call this country home, are free because of that sacrifice. Many of these brave service members we never had a chance to meet, but all of them we have a chance to honor. So let us remember the fallen from our past and our all too painful present, and let us physically and rhetorically plant our flag on Memorial Day, that it may forever stand for the ideals that it was created upon. Please join me to help fulfill General Logan's call to, quote, raise above them the dear old flag they saved from dishonor. Let us in this solemn presence renew our pledges to aid and assist those whom they have left among us as a sacred charge upon a nation's gratitude. So let us as individuals, as a state, and as a commonwealth do that today and every day forward. At this time, I'd like to introduce a great friend to the Massachusetts Military Heroes Fund, who has stood by us ever since taking office and for a long time before then. The governor has been a great supporter of the families that we serve, and we are honored to have him join us here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Governor Charlie Baker.
And let me first of all start by thanking Steve and the team for their efforts every year to give us this opportunity to gather and remember and honor and say thank you to the folks and families who are represented by the flags that are behind me. I said to Steve when I got here today that I really missed this event last year, and I'm thrilled that we're able to come together once again to say thank you, especially to the folks who are in the audience today. As I thought about what I might say, I couldn't help but think about the poster boards over there that are associated with the 54th Regiment. William Carney, who is right there in the middle, holding the American flag, was born a slave in the early 1800s. Eventually, it's not exactly clear how, he found his way to Boston and then to New Bedford, where he joined with his father and several other members of his family as a free man. He was one of the original members of the 54th Volunteer Infantry Regiment from Massachusetts. And he fought in several skirmishes and ultimately the second attack on Fort Wagner. And it was his heroism at Fort Wagner that led to him being one of about 20 Black Americans who ultimately received the Medal of Honor for their heroism in the Civil War. He was badly wounded during that assault, went back to New Bedford, eventually healed, and he spent a big part of the next several decades delivering mail to the people in New Bedford and became quite well known to the community because back in the day, the person who delivered your mail was somebody you really got to know. He eventually passed away, and he and his wife are buried in the family plot in New Bedford. I didn't find out about him because of this. I found out about him because several years ago, I was visiting a K-8 school in New Bedford, and there was this giant mural on the inside of it for Sergeant William Carney. And it was at that point in time that I learned the story of this very special man who represents so much of what it means to be a member of a very special class, those recipients of the Medal of Honor. Now, most of the recipients of that very special class don't usually make it back. And there are plenty of examples of that represented by many of the flags that are behind us here today. And as one of these people who've had a chance to spend a big part of my professional career serving in public office at the local and state level, I'm acutely aware that it's the sacrifices and the generosity of spirit and the courage of those who serve and their families who make it possible for our democracy to continue to operate on behalf of the people that we all serve. The debt that's paid by the flags here and the folks they represent can never be repaid. But the one thing I have heard time and time again from Gold Star families in my conversations with them over the years is through the tragedy, I hope you never forget and you always take time to honor and remember those who have made possible through their sacrifices all that we hold dear here in Massachusetts and across the country. And that's why having this chance once again to come here today and to honor and to thank you for the service of your family members and all those who are represented by these flags is so important. God bless, and I'm really glad we could be here today to have a chance to look out across this crowd, see you all in person, and say thank you and God bless. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to invite another one of our great partners up. So please welcome one of our incredible Friends of Mass Military Heroes Fund and partner in service to our fallen heroes, Denise Rosa of Army Survivor Outreach Services.
I heard your voice in the wind today, author unknown. I heard your voice in the wind today, and I turned to see your face. The warmth of the wind caressed me as I stood silently in place. I felt your touch in the sun today as its warmth filled the sky. I closed my eyes for your embrace, and my spirit soared high. I saw your eyes in the window pane as I watched the falling rain. It seemed as each raindrop fell, it quietly said your name. I held you close in my heart today. It made me feel complete. You may have died, but you are not gone. You will always be a part of me. As long as the sun shines, the wind blows, the rain falls, you will live on inside of me forever. For that is all my heart knows. Escuché tu voz en el viento hoy, autor desconocido. Hoy escuché tu voz en el viento y me volví para ver tu rostro. El calor del viento me acariciaba mientras permanecí en silencio en mi lugar. Hoy sentí tu toque en el sol, como su calor llenó el cielo. Cerré los ojos por tu abrazo y mi espíritu se elevó alto. Vi tus ojos en el cristal de la ventana mientras miraba la lluvia que caía. Parecía que cada gota de lluvia que caía en voz baja decía tu nombre. Hoy te abracé en mi corazón, me hizo sentir completa. Puede que hayas muerto, pero no te has ido. Siempre serás parte de mí. Mientras que el sol brilla, el viento sopla, la lluvia cae. Mientras vivas dentro de mí para siempre, porque eso es todo lo que sabe mi corazón.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
At this time, before we begin the flag dedication ceremony, I'd invite the flag planters and the name readers who are reading from the podium, flag planters to join us over on my left, name readers over on my right. So at this time, I have the honor and privilege of introducing a great friend of the Massachusetts Military Heroes Fund and an incredible partner of ours in the work that we do to support all of those in need. From Home Base, a program of the Red Sox Foundation and Mass General Brigham, please welcome Brigadier General Retired Jack Hammond.
Good morning, everyone. This is truly an amazing day, and each year it gets better and better. And as Steve mentioned a moment ago, it's so wonderful to be back here again with all the flags and all the people. As a veteran of both Iraq and Afghanistan, I can tell you each and every one of you hold a special place in our heart. Every veteran knows what a potential eventuality could be going to war. And knowing that our families will be cared for, knowing that their service and sacrifice will be remembered is extremely important for them to continue. It's an honor to be here today with all of you and the Massachusetts Military's Heroes Fund. I have the privilege of introducing the most sacred part of the program and an annual tradition here in the Commonwealth, the roll call of names for the brave men and women who voluntarily answered the call to duty and sacrificed their lives after 9/11. It is important on this 12th anniversary of this tradition to remember why we read these names. In a list that grows longer each year, simply put, we read these names to connect with our fallen, to remember them, to honor them, to dignify them, to mourn them, and to smile at cherished memories of them. In this way, we fulfill our vow to remember and honor the ultimate sacrifice of our fallen each day. Please remain silent as I call forth the dear families and friends of our brave heroes to read the names of their loved ones as we plant the final flags in their honor, completing this Memorial Day Flag Garden tribute. At this time, I would invite our families to rise and prepare to present your heroes' names.